Hi everyone, I'm Moose, and like many of you, I was raised on the Disney animated canon. That actually might be why I'm hosting such a messed up show like this. Some of these so-called kids movies are utterly terrifying.
And what did Santa bring you, honey?
Over the last 80 years, Disney has given us some of the most vicious villains in film history. And despite their wholesome reputation, the House of Mouse is happy to dispatch their evil antagonists in extremely gruesome ways. So, let's get down to business. Light your torch, mount your horse, and be prepared. Because this is how to kill Disney villains. No Keyblade required. A lot has changed since Walt Disney first founded his studio. The space race, the internet.
Take a spin, now you're in with the techno set. You're going surfing on the internet.
The switch from cells to computer animation, but throughout it all, one constant has remained.
Gravity.
As the first full-length animated feature, Disney's Snow White literally changed the face of cinema. And right from the start, the studio had no qualms about killing off their villains. Grimhilda, the vile and vain queen who poisons our porcelain-skinned heroine, is cornered on a cliff by 7 pissed-off dwarves and all their furry friends. She tries to crush them with a massive boulder, but a bolt of lightning destroys the ground beneath, sending her plummeting to a painful death. And if the fall doesn't kill her, that big-ass rock sure will.
It's over!
The Wicked Queen's demise was the first of many fatal falls in the Disney canon, like Ratigan getting his bell rung, or Muntz missing the leap back to his blimp. It's become a beloved cliche in its own right, which may be why they occasionally switch up the actual cause of death. Maleficent's final form gets a sword through the chest before she falls into a field of flaming bramble. While Mother Gothel in Tangled turns to dust before she hits terra firma. And in Tarzan, Clayton meets the most gruesome ending in the history of the G rating, when his neck is unceremoniously snapped by a vine. Now, it's not always necessary to go the extra mile. Sometimes a simple deadly drop will do ya, like Gaston's death in Beauty and the Beast, which is the perfect example of this trope. When he falls from the castle, we know he's in for a world of hurt, but we don't actually need to see his splattered corpse to understand that he's gotten his just desserts, at least in the final film. Originally, there was a deleted scene depicting Gaston surviving his fall, only to be torn apart by a pack of wolves from earlier in the movie. They would recycle that idea 3 years later in The Lion King because few deaths are more satisfying than being eaten by animals. The Lion King was loosely based on Hamlet, where Scar's Shakespearean counterpart Claudius dies when the titular Danish prince stabs him and forces him to drink poison. In the Disney version, however, Simba's uncle gets thrown from Pride Rock and torn to shreds by a pack of snarling hyenas who overheard him trying to throw them under the bus.
No, I didn't mean. No, no!
Natural selection is a harsh and unforgiving mistress after all, and with so many Disney films focused on animals, it's inevitable that a bunch of baddies will wind up as kibble. There's Hopper from A Bug's Life, the tiny terror, who gets torn asunder by the cutest CGI chickies ever. Much like Yzma is eventually eaten by baby falcons in Kronk's New Groove.
I told you so.
Though she's alive and well for the TV show, so that one might not be canon. Then again, neither made the TV show. Now, Disney usually has no problem showing nature take its course, but for some reason they can't close the deal when it comes to crocodiles. The Rescuers leaves Madame Medusa clinging for her life as two killer crocs lie in wait, while their version of Peter Pan ends with Hook safely outside the bowels of the beast that took his hand. But if you want to be absolutely 100% certain that your enemy isn't going to return for the terrible direct-to-video sequel, you can make it happen with some magma. In The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the mad priest Frollo meets his grisly demise when a gargoyle gives way and drops him into a pool of molten copper, symbolic of the hellfire he crooned about in Disney's most sinister song. Many a Disney villain has perished in a plume of liquid lava, even when they're seemingly immortal, like the nigh-omnipotent genie version of Jafar. He may wield phenomenal cosmic power!
Itty bitty living space.
But when Iago turns babyface and kicks his lamp into a moat of magma, the diabolical djinn explodes in a burst of embarrassingly bad animation. The King of Candy, aka Turbo, meets a slightly more spectacular demise when Wreck-It Ralph drops a metric ton of Mentos into the dormant Diet Coke volcano, creating an irresistible geyser that lures Turbo and the Cybugs to their doom.
Go into the light.
Now, in A Nightmare Before Christmas, it's debatable whether Oogie Boogie is killed by lava, since when his plot unravels, he's revealed to be a composite being made of thousands of wicked worms and bugs. A fair share of these infernal insects do drip into the lava below, but jolly old Saint Nick strikes the killing blow when he finally puts his foot down. Our first three entries make up the lion's share of Disney deaths. Some of the gnarliest kills simply can't be categorized, so let's finish up with a lightning round. After all, what the hell do you call it when your villain is dragged to hell? Like when Hades takes a swim in the river Styx,
I feel a little splash!
Or Dr. Fasalier's debt to the voodoo spirits sends him to an early grave. And while we're talking about spells and sorcery, I don't know what's going on in the Black Cauldron, but watching the Horned King have the flesh agonizingly ripped from his bones, I can understand why the Care Bears movie beat it at the box office.
Come and visit Care-a-Lot and join Tenderheart.
I'm Tenderheart, a Care Bear.
The film was controversial for its dark themes and unflinching violence, but some of the other kills that Disney's depicted make it look like, well, the Care Bears movie. Take Oliver and Company, a charming update of a Dickensian classic with cute little dogs and cats, Billy Joel, and an evil loan shark crashing a convertible full speed into an oncoming subway train. That's almost as gruesome as Syndrome getting sucked into a jet propeller. But no less deadly than, say, Shan Yu riding a rocket straight to hell. Or Mordu and Ernesto being crushed beneath massive weights. Now, our final Disney death, and one of my all-time favorites, comes courtesy of The Little Mermaid, the film that launched the Disney Renaissance in 1989 and also introduced us to one of their most wonderfully weird villains in Ursula, the sinister sea witch modeled after the legendary drag queen, Divine. Ursula cons Triton into giving up his trident, which she then uses to grow to massive size and seize control over the seas. Her Tempest resurfaces a wrecked ship, allowing Prince Eric to plunge the broken bow right through her sternum. You know, there's been a lot of concern lately that with Disney's recent purchase of Fox, they're gonna sugarcoat and kidify some of our most beloved and bloody franchises. But judging from the brutal, bone-crushing ways they've bopped off their iconic baddies, I'm not too concerned.
How about you wash that down with a couple of cool ones?
Thanks for watching, everyone. What is your favorite Disney villain death? Is it Clayton's horrifying drop, Syndrome's sudden cape mishap, or Scar getting scarfed by hyenas? Leave a comment, let us know, and as always, please subscribe to Now This Nerd for more episodes of Slash Course.